Hello friends, KangasCloud here, and boy, is it Pokemon season. I mean, between Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Go, Pokemon is pretty much everywhere right now, and of course, YouTube is full of news and theory videos covering all things Pokemon. I've even made a few myself, and I know how they can get a little out of hand, but this isn't one of those. No. I just wanted to make a video talking about some of the interesting things that have been announced for Pokemon Sun and Moon. And to help me do this is my good friend, Woopsire.
Hi guys.
Shall we get started?
Let's do it. Wait, I thought this was a discussion video, not a theory.
Oh, weird. That must have been a mistake. Don't worry, I'll fix it later. Go ahead and start the list.
Righto. So, obviously there have been a lot of leaks about the things coming up in Sun and Moon, but few are more interesting than some of the latest ones. For instance, it was recently revealed that the Alola region, where the game is set to take place, has other forms of classic Pokemon we've all come to know and love. Like the super long-necked Executor, for instance. But did you know that this isn't the first time we've seen this Pokemon design?
Really?
Yes, really. The long-necked Executor actually dates back to 1997, when it was first featured on the cover art for a Japanese trading card game box.
Huh. Interesting.
Did you have something to add, Kanga?
No. Keep going.
Well, that's not the only interesting thing about the new games. It seems that gym battles, which were a mainstay of previous generations, are possibly going to be replaced by island challenges.
Wait. No more gym battles?
Yeah, Kango, we talked about this. And just hold on, we're almost to your part.
Sorry.
Anyway, no more gym battles and possibly no new Mega Evolutions, a concept that was introduced in Pokemon X and Y.
Oh my god.
Kanga, are you okay?
It's nothing, I think. Sorry, continue.
As I was saying, Sun and Moon might not have any new Mega Evolutions, instead favoring another entirely new concept called Z-Moves, essentially giving Pokemon another attack to use by activating a special ring.
Oh, sweet potatoes!
Kanga, what is it now?
I never thought about all these things together before.
And?
It just seems like an interesting game, that's all.
Can I finish?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the last things I wanted to talk about was something a bit on the sillier side. You may have seen that one of the Pokemon that's been announced for Sun and Moon bears a striking resemblance to a certain American celebrity who may or may not be running for president this year. The Pokemon's name is Gumshoes and looks exactly like...
Great God, I've got it!
What is it, Kanga?
With the island challenges, the Alola forms of Pokemon, Z-moves?
You're not thinking of some crazy Pokemon theory, are you? You told me this was going to be a discussion video.
Well, in one sense, it's not a theory, but in another...
No theories, Kanga.
But
You promised.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and start your segment now?
Sure, I can do that, and it's totally not going to be a theory.
No theories.
Okay. No theory. Okay. Isn't it funny how there's a Pokedex that looks like a Rotom, but it's not a Rotom.
Kanga, are you okay?
Yup. Just discussing things that are not theories.
Kanga?
And isn't it interesting how Nintendo is introducing battle royals into the game? I mean, it's basically like free-for-alls, right? Something that started outside of the game and now it's inside the game. From outside to inside, one place then another. Kind of defies logic, doesn't it? And physics!
Kanga?
You don't think it's weird that something created in real life is transferring to the game? Because Pokemon didn't come up with this idea. No, the fans did. It's like real life is merging with the game. No. That would be crazy, right? Real life can't merge with a video game. That's
A theory.
No.
Thank God.
It's a KangasCloud theory.
Uh-oh.
And let's go back to the Rotom Pokedex. Isn't it strange that instead of a new form of Rotom, the Pokemon now has a new use? Why? How?
Does it matter?
Yes, and not because the game is taking a Pokemon and making it into an item in your bag. No. It's because the game is taking Rotom and making it into an item in your bag. Rotom is an incredibly unique Pokemon. Not only does it have the ability to change forms in the Pokemon games, which alters its typing and move pool, but as seen in the anime, Rotom has the ability to travel through time, and just look at this Rotom Pokedex entry from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Research continues on this Pokemon, which could be the power source of a unique motor. A power source for a unique motor? A time machine, perhaps?
Wait, are you saying that there's going to be time travel in Sun and Moon?
No, not exactly. But we'll come back to this later. First, let's talk about Zygarde. Zygarde was a legendary dragon Pokemon introduced in Pokemon X and Y. And as we already know from previous leaks, in the new games, this Pokemon will gain the ability to alter its form, becoming more powerful than before. It will even be able to change the type of animal it resembles. Doesn't this seem strange to you?
I
know what you're going to say. The Zygarde story arc in the anime explains all of this to some extent. But does it? Do we really know the true origins of the Zygarde core? And why we don't have access to these other forms in previous games, but suddenly in Pokemon Sun and Moon we do? And let's go back to one of the first Sun and Moon leaks, Magearna. This Pokemon is said to have been created over 500 years ago by some unknown scientist. Unknown? Why the mystery? And what is its true purpose? Could Magearna itself be the unique motor that Rotom was originally built to power?
What are we even talking about anymore?
We're talking about a reality in which a machine was built to alter space and time, where our own world and the world of Pokemon merge. A place that allows Pokemon to acquire a 5th move slot, allows Zygarde to change forms, along with all the other Alolan Pokemon. Alolan Sandshrew, Alolan Marowak, Alolan Vulpix. Oh, it's just so cute. But let's not forget the most important Alolan form of all, Alolan Egg Palm Tree. Also known as Alolan Executor.
But Alolan Executor
is the key to everything! You're absolutely right! Its long neck isn't just some weird animator's drunken sketch. It is, in fact, the missing link in the Pokemon universe's most incredible secret.
But how does any of this have to do with time travel?
Time travel? I told you, this isn't about time travel. No, it's much simpler than that. Do you want me to tell you the astounding truth that is so clearly right in front of you?
Not really.
The truth is, Pokemon Sun and Moon are not set in another time. They are set in another dimension.
Kanga, you're starting to sound like a madman.
Am I? Well, I thought you might say that. So I decided to call someone to have a second look at this theory.
You called someone? When?
Just in time.
Oh, hi guys. I got your message.
Oh, thank God. Auraguardian, I'm so glad to see you.
Good to see you too, Woopsire. By the way, guys, Kanga and I did a video over on my channel about Superman if you're interested.
Kanga has this crazy theory that Pokemon Sun and Moon are set in another dimension, and that it has something to do with Rotom and Executor's long neck. Finally, someone else with some common sense is here to help me talk some sense into him.
Sun and Moon? Set in another dimension?
Yeah.
That's absolutely absurd.
That's what I've been saying.
Absurdly possible.
Wait, what?
I knew if anyone else could see the truth, it would be you, Alex. And I have all the pieces here, but I can't figure out how the last ones fit together. Help me.
I will. The world needs to know.
What on earth is happening right now?
What do you have so far?
Well, we've established that Rotom is the motor designed to power Magearna, a machine built over 500 years ago.
No, we didn't.
And that this device's purpose was to open a wormhole into another dimension.
Totally not true.
And this dimension is none other than the Alola region in Pokemon Sun and Moon.
No, it's not.
The Pokemon there are different than ours here. One of the differences being the way that Executor evolved into having an extremely long neck. A neck so long that its only possible purpose would be to act as a gateway through spatial anomalies.
Where are you getting all of this?
But what I can't figure out is, why Executor? And why is all of this happening now?
I think I can help.
Please don't.
Well, you see, I think the key to understanding this neck gateway, or neckway, is to go back to its origins.
You mean the 1997 box art it first appeared on?
Exactly.
But I've already thought about this, and haven't been able to come up with anything.
Well, maybe I can do something to help you think about it in a different way.
Vulcan Mind Meld?
Vulcan Mind Meld.
I'm never collabing with anyone ever again.
Did that help?
Alex, I think it's time. Let's finish this Pokemon theory. So Executor's long neck first appears in 1997, and what is interesting about that year?
Well, a few things. First, 1997 is the year that the first Harry Potter book was released. And how do the wizards get from the Muggle world to Hogwarts? By using a portal to another dimension. J.K. Rowling obviously drew inspiration for the Harry Potter series from Pokemon.
You can't be serious.
That's right, and not only that, but 1997 marks the first appearance of Digimon, leaving no doubt that Pokemon Sun and Moon having obvious Digimon-inspired legendaries is no coincidence.
I doubt this.
And let's not forget that 1997 was the year that the first successful cloning experiment on a mammal took place, when scientists in Scotland were able to replicate Dolly the sheep.
This doesn't have anything to do with Pokemon.
And now it's time to put all of this together, but in order to do this, we have to push the red button!
Woo, the red button.
Woopsire, push the red button!
No.
Push the red button!
There is no way I am going to push that button.
Push the red button!
I'll push the button.
Ah, my potato's done.
You should never theorize on an empty stomach. Shall we wrap this up then?
Yes. The world in which Pokemon Sun and Moon take place has always existed, not in our universe, but in another dimension.
That's right, and roughly 500 years ago, the Alolan people built a device that we now know as Magearna as an early experiment in electric power using the Pokemon called Rotom, which has been known to turn itself into a variety of machines.
But its creators soon realized they had created something more than an energy source, as this device allowed them to see into alternate dimensions, namely our own universe.
Rotom itself being sentient, fled from these scientists, fearing the power that his existence allowed him to have. It deactivated itself and went into hiding, eventually disguising itself as a Pokedex, so as not to arouse suspicion.
Fast forward 5 centuries in which various scientists had tried to replicate the original experiment to learn more about dimensions outside of their own. It became clear that without the Rotom power source, Magearna was useless to them, leading to more experiments in genetically altering Pokemon to help it achieve the same abilities as Rotom.
And one of these experiments was Executor. As trees have such a long lifespan, research on one of these Pokemon could continue from generation to generation. Alas, they were never able to replicate the abilities of Rotom, but in the end their experiments were still a success. And that brings us to 1997.
1997 is the year the Executor's neck began growing, and grew so tall that it tore a hole through the space-time continuum, and once again connected our universe with the Alolans.
Wait. I have to stop you. Assuming any of this is true, which I'm not, how could this have happened and no one here knew about it?
Oh, but they did, Woopsire. In fact, millions of people on our own planet witnessed this event, but just didn't know what they were seeing.
That's right. In 1997, a comet by the name Hale-Bopp appeared in the night sky. It was dubbed the Great Comet of 1997, and shone brighter than any other in recorded history. Or so the government would have us believe.
Wait. Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Yes. This astronomical event was actually the moment that Executor's head created a gateway between our universe and the actual Pokemon world.
It can't be.
Oh yes, Woopsire. Why do you think there's so many things that happened that year related to Pokemon?
That Japanese box art featuring Executor? It seems some people were somehow able to see through the light and created that image in a desperate attempt to tell the world what they had seen before being ultimately silenced.
And J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. Did you know that her parents worked as scientists and aircraft engineers? And her origins? Scottish, just like the supposed clone sheep.
And what about that clone sheep Dolly? Not actually a clone, but the Pokemon Mareep, somehow sucked through this hole in space into our dimension. The cloning was a good cover, sure, and Mareep was eventually put into the second generation of Pokemon games.
Just think about the movies released that year. Titanic was taken down by a giant iceberg, the Jurassic Park sequel about reviving monsters that were killed by ice, and Batman and Robin, where the villain used weapons which harnessed the cold to take on opponents. And what Pokemon is weak to ice?
Executor.
These were clearly government propaganda to try to get people ready to defend themselves should we be attacked by this potential threat.
Oh my god.
And now it's almost 20 years later, and Pokemon Sun and Moon is set to release this fall. But clearly, this isn't the simple game that we think it is. You see, while our universes are similar in many ways, a divergence has occurred. In the Alola universe, not only are the Pokemon different, the politics are too. One man has risen to power and controls everything. Donald Trump. And he has become president.
Oh my god.
Of Nintendo. And over the past 2 decades has built an army of savage Pokemon Trump clones which he plans to use to take over our planet and perhaps the entire universe.
And he's going to time this
With the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Yes. When people see the gumshoes start appearing, they'll think it's just an advertising trick, or that it's some enhanced version of Pokemon Go.
Kanga, I wonder if this world is similar to our Pokemon games. If there's not some former Professor Oak there, someone who might be able to tell us more about this history of Alola. Maybe give us an idea on what might stop all this.
You're right, but we would need to find a way to contact them, our own personal portal.
Kanga, I just noticed the poster on your wall. Has that always been there?
Actually, yes. It was here when I bought the place. I haven't moved it since.
Kanga, didn't Home Alone 3 come out in 1997?
Hello, my children.
Professor? Is that you?
I am a professor, yes, but I am not the professor you know from your world.
But how?
In my world, I lived for many lifetimes. Long ago, I was elected by the ancient council of Pokemon professors to be Professor Grandmaster Supreme, granting me the power of immortality, a great gift, but also a mighty burden.
Professor, we have so many questions.
I know you do. That is why I am here, KangasCloud, Woopsire, Auraguardian.
How do you know our names?
My child, I have seen many worlds. I have lived many pasts. I am the Alpha Sapphire and the Omega Ruby. I will answer all of your questions, but first, I must speak to you of what's to come.
You mean the invasion?
Yes, it was never my desire for war between our homes, but similar to your dimension, in ours, the being known as Trump has gotten far out of hand. I come to you with an offering of peace. We must unite ourselves in order to save the entire universe.
Oh, sorry about that. I did not realize this whole video was going to be this long. I'm actually supposed to go to lunch with a friend of mine. I'll go tell him it'll be a couple of minutes.
Oh, sure. I can wait. So, you guys like Pokemon? Or...
Oh, hey, Gary. It'll be just another minute.
Gary?
Fuck Gary!
Oh, thank God, it was just a dream. Oh man, it's already 12? I gotta get to Kangas to make that video.